on the spectrum of Seventh Day Adventists, I don't think my family is conservative.
No, yeah. See,
but just in terms of like
how they raise their children,
yeah,
I think conservative. But like his lifestyle, I mean, I don't want to put y'all out there. Yeah, you know,
because you know she's watching.
I know.
Both of them.
You girl.
And my mom too.
You cray.
Yeah, my family has fun. We have fun. We're crazy. I love them. I'm crazy. I'm probably one of the crazier ones. Believe it or not. Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Azzy.
And we are AK31. Today we're doing a video about what it was like to grow up a Seventh Day Adventist. And for those of you who don't know what Seventh Day Adventists are or is, it's a denomination of Christianity that just, believes in, keeping the Sabbath and looks forward to the second coming of God. And that's pretty much summed it up.
Okay, growing up Seventh Day Adventist. Well, both of us were born and raised Seventh Day Adventist in the Adventist Church. So I generally had like a good experience growing up Adventist. So growing up, you kind of just do what your parents do. You do what they tell you to do. You go where they tell you to go. You go to church on the day that they go to church. And so it's fine, when you're like young. One, because you have a lot of friends like in the churches you go to. So I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana. So I went to a big Adventist church, and all my friends were part of the church. It was cool because we're all doing the same thing and everything like that. It was also homeschooled, so it's like I didn't have friends who were outside of the church. I didn't really have any friends who were outside the church basically, so it was fine. Just growing up. I got a little older and everything, started meeting new people that weren't in the church and just getting different exposures. But my parents did really well, and just raising me right as a good Adventist girl and everything like that, just teaching me our beliefs and what I should stand for and what we as Adventists do and what we don't do because of our beliefs. So I knew all that and I was very aware of that. So when I was young, it was fine, because everyone around me was doing the same thing. So it didn't really bring attention that I was doing something different than other people. So I started growing up, going to school with people who weren't Adventists. So I think one of the main things that kids who grow up in the Adventist church struggle with is just all the don'ts. There's a lot of don'ts that we see growing up, like you can't go out on Friday nights, you can't watch TV, you can't listen to, secular music, like you can't eat this, you can't go to a friend's party on Saturday, like Saturdays, like you don't do anything basically. And that's kind of how it felt back then. I mean, now, God only asks one day for us, to show him reverence, to show him that, to make this day holy, right? Every other day we hustle and bustle around the world, but he asked for one day. So Saturday is the day that we use to sanctify him and glorify him and just show reverence and show respect. Saturday is the day that we do that. So we do that from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. But growing up, when I was young and immature, and all I thought about was all the things that I wanted to do, and me, and my friends doing this, and I would do it too. That's all I thought about. So during like the preteen age, it was kind of a struggle because I wanted to go to a game on Friday night, or I wanted to go to homecoming, I wanted to X, Y, Z. I went to a Christian school, but it wasn't Adventist for just half of my high school education. So that was a really big struggle for me. Well, me and my parents. We went through a lot of things because I wasn't really practicing Seventh Day Adventism for myself. It was more so because my parents were Adventists, and I hadn't really dug deep into why I am a Seventh Day Adventist. It was strictly because my parents were Seventh Day Adventists. So I didn't really have issues with like what we ate. So we don't eat unclean meat like pork. We don't eat certain seafoods and everything like that. And that was never an issue for me. Like I didn't care less. It was more so just doing things that all my other friends were doing, which happened to be on Friday nights and like Saturday during the day. And then there's always that part where you kind of have to explain like why you can't do something on Friday night. Oh, because I'm Seventh Day Adventist. Like, what is that? And at the time, I'm just like, well, it's my religion, and yeah. So explanations on that was kind of crazy. But I kind of got sick of that. My parents got sick of just fighting back and forth about the Sabbath in regards to the school I went to. So I decided to go to Ozark Adventist Academy, which is an Adventist boarding school. So everybody around you is Adventist. Everybody goes to church on Saturday. And it just makes life as like a teenager just a lot easier, especially for the type of teenager I was. I like to be involved with everything and do everything that everybody else is doing. I was easily influenced, so that was me. So I felt like Ozark was a good choice for me. So going to Ozark made being an Adventist teenager easier for me, made it more accepting for me. I feel like it deepened my relationship with God, so that I know why I'm practicing Adventism as opposed to just doing it because my parents are. So graduated from there, and then going to a public university. It wasn't a struggle being Adventist for me. One, because there were a lot of young people at the church that I went to. So we would have Bible studies on Friday nights as opposed to like doing something else on Friday nights. I was never really the type of, I'd rather stay home than go to a party, and that's just me. So it wasn't hard for me to like say no, I don't want to go, you know, mainly because like I'd rather just not go to a party. But instead of doing that, like going to Bible study on Friday nights, you know, I would go to church with my parents on Saturday. And, you know, a lot of my friends at the time, I was old enough to explain, and they were just very respectful of my religion and didn't put me in positions where I felt pressured, where I felt like my religion was just holding me back from something. So I never really felt that a lot. So up until now, there's really no shame for me in being an Adventist. I hold it as a blessing for me and my family, like knowing the truth, as opposed to when I was a teenager. And I would kind of low-key be ashamed of it and embarrassed because I'm different from everybody else and different from my friends. I can do certain things. But that's just immaturity, and that's just you being a child. You know, when you become a man, you put away childish things. So like, I'm a grown woman now, and I appreciate how I was raised and the church that I grew up in, and I plan to raise my children in the same church.
So my experience growing up at Venice was similar, but also very different from Azzy's, in that I went to Christian education only, like in pre-K, and so beyond that, everything beyond pre-K was public school. And so the majority of my friends, outside of my friends at church, which I was very close to, most of my friends weren't Adventist, and so I had to get real comfortable with explaining what Seventh Day Adventism was like really early, because even when I didn't really fully understand it. And so it was a lot of disappointments in terms of, like, you know, when you're a child, you want to be able to go to all your friends' birthday parties and be like, why can't I go? Why can't I go? But, you know, my parents explained it in the best way they could, and they both knew that when I got older, I would understand fully and appreciate it. But yeah, that was my experience in like elementary, middle school. It wasn't that big of a deal what we did and didn't eat. It wasn't a big deal. Sometimes I'd eat corn dogs that had pork in them. Okay, like, oops. Or I'd like peel the pepperoni off a pizza. And my parents were like, Kristen, that's still eating pork. And I was like, what? But yeah, I think where I had struggled with it the most was more in high school, because I was very, very involved in high school. I was a president of this, the editor of this, the officer in this, and a lot of those organizations that I was in required, or not required, but like a lot of the events went on like Friday evenings, Saturdays, and things like that. And so I had to my parents started to kind of loosen the reins on me and kind of like let me decide, like, do I think that this is, you know, appropriate to do on the Sabbath? Because, like, as they said, it's just one day that God asked for. And so they kind of gave me some, like, freedom in that aspect. Of course, you know, they would still put their foot down when they thought that, you know, what I was doing wasn't right. But best believe, like, I made sure our prom was on a Saturday night, so I could, because I was planning prom, so I was like, I'm not about to plan prom and then not have it on, not be able to go. So I think high school was, I guess, like the most difficult. Lord, at the time I struggled most with it, but I think I didn't really start to appreciate it until I was in college, and you know, you're just going, studying all day, every single day, and then that Friday evening comes and you're like, forget all this.
It's a rest.
Yeah, you just drop everything, and you really, and even if you're not like resting, like sleeping all day, you're just taking your mind off of like all that work and the exams that you have. Yeah, you have an exam Monday morning, but you're not thinking about that right now because it's a Sabbath. And I don't think I fully came to appreciate being a Seventh Day Adventist and what that means, not only spiritually, but also for my personal health, my mental health, my body health, until I was older. And it's truly been a blessing. I do say that I'm a Christian before I'm a Seventh Day Adventist, but I am a Seventh Day Adventist. There's no denying that. And I'm very proud of that now, whereas before maybe I was like a little bit more, you know, embarrassed or hesitant to talk about it because I was different. But it's something I fully embrace, not only because my parents and my family, that's what they practice, but because it makes sense for me. Like, everything about it actually is logically sound. And, you know, I love reason, so, yeah. But yeah, that's my experience. Alright, you guys, thank you again for watching our video. If you are a Seventh Day Adventist or you know of any Seventh Day Adventist, I'm sure you can relate to some of the things we said. And if you can, or if you have anything else to add, please comment below or send us a DM on Instagram, however you want to communicate with us. But let us know, and share this within your youth groups and your Bible studies and on your church pages and everything.
Yeah.
We love to get more opinions from other people.
Also, you can just like start a conversation.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear like the progression of what we thought growing up to how we feel now.
Yeah, it is.
That's something you can talk about.
Alright, well, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.